Hello, Zay Automotive Reviews. And hey folks, it looks like Ford has come up with 4 locations across the United States for the Bronco driving school. And remember, this is free where you get your Bronco. And also Bronco Sport. Remember, you have to pay for accommodations and travel. Now, this is initially free for those who are getting their Broncos in 2021. The Bronco is back, folks. You know, there may be a 5th location, but it seems like they got the locations pretty well covered. The Ford Bronco, folks. An awesome SUV. The Bronco Experience. Now, if you ever been keeping your eggs in a Bronco basket, sometimes in the dirt, it'll make the wait worth its while. So there's many locations for you to get dirty after receiving your Bronco. So probably you could talk to your significant other or somebody you love, somebody that you want to take with you, and they'll have to pay for their accommodations. They'll have to pay, but you be the only one that's not paying. That's for the event, not for the lodging and travel. That has to come out of your own pocket. But boy, oh boy, let's look at this Ford Bronco. Now, you can't learn everything from riding shotgun in a Bronco, but you can pick up a fair bit of information. The 2021 Ford Bronco and the Bronco Sport is still away from arriving in the dealership. Now, out in Holly Oaks Park in Holly, Michigan, some journalists went on the trip in these highly anticipated SUVs. Now, they can tell you with assurance that Ford isn't blowing smoke up your behind. The Broncos can really hit the dirt and hit it hard, folks. I mean hard! What a bad SUV, folks. Not everyone needs a body on frame mama jama, big, all capable SUV stumping and rock climbing. Some folks are simply after a rugged enough unibody crossover that does allow for fun in the dirt without related to unworthy sacrifices. Now, a lot of people aren't sure of this, but the Bronco Sport would fit the bill. But I tell you, a lot of people who haven't experienced the Bronco Sport will realize that it's a capable SUV. Now, sliding in the front passenger seat, the first thing you notice is the dashboard is surprisingly thin, taking up very little space between the firewall and the cabin, having the whole shebang feel perhaps a bit bigger than it actually is. Since they didn't write nothing but the pre-production models, you can't speak on the material choice of the final build quality just yet. But looking at this baby, I tell you, it's quite promising. While the time in the Ford Bronco that the journalist had was brief, They spend most of the time cackling like a madman. Now the reason why is because what's under the hood of this little baby Bronco. You're talking about a 2.0 liter turbocharged inline 4 gas engine, which puts out 244 horsepower and 275 pound-feet of torque. Now, it may not seem like a much because the competitor is putting in 700 plus horsepower into anything made of metal. But the Bronco Sport is scoots pushing through dirt and sand with a surprising amount of hustle. With an engine, note, that sounds surprisingly beefy for only a 4-cylinder. So this is an amazing SUV. Now, if you've been in a lot of wide variety of off-road capable unibody crossovers, not all of which lay down the power as well as their marketing department, whatever you believe. That said, you're going to walk away from the Bronco Sport impressed. Now at the Hollyoaks Park, there was plenty of dirt and mud and sand. And this plucky little car, little SUV, was a beast. And a lot of that comes from the purpose-built 235/65 R17 Falcon Wild Peak all-terrain tires, which will grab as much dirt easier than the basic all-season found on lower trims. So you got to make sure you get the right tires for this baby. Now back to the adventure. And throughout the 4 different places in the United States, it's going to be an experience that's going to make your investment worthwhile. It's going to teach you to use your investment. Now back to this little baby right here. With the mode switch on the center console dials and the throttle response shift points and other factors to promote as much traction as possible, and there are some steep sandy slopes that the Bronco Sport climbs with no problem. A front-facing camera helps the nose stay pointed in the right direction. Although the lack of guidelines seems like a major oversight, with about 7.8 to 8.8 inches of ground clearance and nearly the same amount of suspension travel, deep ruts, sharp dips don't incur any horrible underbody noises. Now speaking of the underbody noises, the serenity inside the Bronco Sport also surprises the journalists. Some off-road friendly crossovers generate a cacophony, but not there. The low-speed crawl control manipulates the brakes on its own. But even slow downhill travel doesn't incur the anti-lock brake crunchies. Large suspension movements isn't met with bump stop pings either. It's an impressive, quiet way to traverse the rougher stuff. So I wonder, was your latte spilling your lap? I don't know. But it is a nice ride. I remember when I was up in Upper Wisconsin and I did some off-roading in a GMC Suburban SUV. And folks, it was a blast. And when I look at this picture, it makes me think about it. What a blast it was, folks. But the beauty of the Bronco Sport isn't that it's capable. It's that and it is very capable. If you so chooses, the sheer variety of trims on offer means that some folks can option out the mall crawler on their dreams with a smidge of off-roading pretensions. While other people can go full tilt with the Badlands trim and all the extra gimmicks that come with it. Now I'm thinking with the Bronco Sport, as far as you getting that driving school, I think you have to get the Badlands package in order to get the driving school. Because the Badlands is a beast. Now the kind of variety is nice to see. And this is going to be an appealing SUV, folks. And then see, when driving this baby, the only thing you're going to see, if you're off-road, the only thing you're going to see is dust if you're behind them. That's all you'll see, and that's all you'll get in the up and top of this Bronco. So keep the sunroof closed. But boy, oh boy, what an awesome SUV. Now, in an ordinary SUV, this sort of interior decoration might end up with a trip to the dealership when everything stops working. But the Bronco keeps on trucking, though. Not only do exposed ports come with doors to keep the dirt out. See, the Bronco is just durable. And even though you get dust and stuff all up in this SUV when you're moving down the trail like this, and believe me, if you are using your investment to the fullest of its potential. Well, not basically to the fullest of its potential, because if you did, you're gonna have all kinds of scratches and bruises and bumps and hits, and just like they did when they were driving it and testing it on the Moab. Hell's revenge, because hell is coming back, and I tell you, this one angry son of a bitch. Now, let's get back to this. Now, the Broncos keep on trucking. Not only do exposed ports come with doors to keep the dirt out, the switches atop of the dashboard have a cover that prevent unwanted intrusions. And there appears to be a good amount of ceiling between the large infotainment screen and the rest of the dashboard. Folks, I gotta tell you, this Bronco is designed to be in this very situation. Hell, you can even hold some of it down thanks to the drain plugs in the floor, although it would still exercise aquatic restraint in and around expensive looking bits. You're gonna have protection, folks, and you gotta protect your investment, and thank God Ford did that, folks. Thank God for the Ford engineers who took their time out and took some deep thought in making this baby. It's not hard to feel the familiar relationship between the Bronco and the Bronco Sport. There's a relationship there, so don't feel like you're out of it. You are in it, folks, with the Bronco Sport. And option out for the Badlands. That way, if you want to follow the big boys, you can, and you can do it to the fullest extent. Now, even though the Bronco and the Bronco Sport couldn't be more different, engineering-wise, many of the same design elements are present. From the non-protruding dashboard to the rugged switchgear on the center console, the big boy Bronco body is more bright, leading to better visibility on all the sides. Those who are extremely confident in their rock-crawling placement will appreciate the markers atop of the end and the front fenders, which double as gear attachment points, are tie-down loops. You're going to want all that visibility because the Bronco baked-in capability wouldn't be nearly as usable without it. Now, the journalist time with the Bronco was spent in similar situations in the Bronco Sport, but everything is more. The speed you carry are higher. The ruts are a little deeper. The inclines a little steeper yet. At no point does the Bronco seem phased, thrusting its nose into a makeshift river and sending water careening over the body panels in the windshield cowl. Like you in the splash zone at some amusement park. Bring a poncho if you leave the roof or door panels at home. So when you do go off-road, bring your poncho. You're going to have a blast. It's going to be nothing like this, folks. Now, the Ford Bronco, folks, is just awesome, folks. I just got to share with you guys about this, and I'm just going to close But when I do close, I just want to get back to the map, just so you guys can have a view, just to see where these locations are going to be about. The exact name of the location, or the geographical location exact, is not known yet, but these are the areas that Ford has given to Bronco 6G. This ain't automotive reviews. Remember, subscribe, hit that button, subscribe. Much love.
If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe for more interesting videos.